Throughout history, there have been many animals that have instilled fear and awe in humans. While the dinosaurs are often considered the ultimate terrifying beasts of the past, there were many other creatures that were just as or even more frightening. From massive prehistoric sharks with jaws full of razor-sharp teeth to giant reptiles with powerful bites, these animals were the stuff of nightmares. In this video, we'll explore some of the most terrifying animals that roamed the earth long before humans ever existed, and learn about what made them so scary. Get ready to discover a world of creatures that will make you think twice about going for a swim or taking a walk in the woods. Hallucigenia. Paleontology studies often struggle to decipher what an extinct animal looked like, especially one that has been gone for 400 million years. However, the Hallucigenia presented a unique challenge, with scientists studying this small worm for over 50 years before determining where its head was located. One look at this bizarre creature makes it easy to understand why. Discovered in 1977, the thumb-sized fossil was already classified as an annelid worm, but British paleontologist Simon Conway Morris had a different perspective. He believed that the organism could walk on stilt-like spines and had tentacles on its back. Conway Morris named the creature Hallucigenia because of its nonsensical appearance, similar to something one might hallucinate during a bad trip. In 1991, researchers Lars Ramskjöld and Hussein Guang challenged Conway Morris's idea, suggesting that what he identified as tentacles were actually the creature's legs. They flipped the model, with the spines now located on the back, likely used for defense. It was not until 2015, with the help of an electron microscope and samples from the Burgess Shale, that Martin Smith from the University of Cambridge determined which end of the worm was the head, complete with eyes and a toothy smile. Although scientists are unsure of what Hallucigenia ate, the ring of teeth around its mouth suggests it likely used suction to consume food and water. Despite its small size, there is no denying that this floppy hallucination is a creepy sight. ANTHROPLEURA. Many people experience discomfort when in close proximity to regular-sized insects and other arthropods. However, during prehistoric times, these creatures could reach immense sizes. One such example is ANTHROPLEURA, an enormous millipede that could grow up to 8.5 feet in length. ANTHROPLEURA lived on Earth during the late Carboniferous period, which spanned between 359 to 299 million years ago. While it is believed that this colossal creature was herbivorous and consumed dead plant matter, like modern-day millipedes, it still would have been incredibly frightening to encounter. Fossil trackways suggest that ANTHROPLEURA could move with impressive speed, undulating hundreds of massive legs in a rhythmic manner to avoid trees and other obstacles. Being the largest land invertebrates in history, it's unlikely that these creatures had any natural predators. Their flexible, segmented bodies allowed them to rear up into a defensive position and confront potential threats. Unfortunately, ANTHROPLEURA went extinct shortly after the end of the Carboniferous period due to the drying out of the environment and the dramatic reduction of rainforests, which were their natural habitats. So why don't we see such massive bugs today? One theory is that prehistoric insects grew to such an enormous size because they thrived on the surplus of oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere at that time. During the Carboniferous period, the emergence of vast lowland swamp forests led to atmospheric oxygen levels of around 30%, nearly 50% higher than current levels. This explains why these supersized millipedes existed during prehistoric times. Titanoboa. Titanoboa is a giant snake that is considered to be the largest snake species that has ever existed on Earth. It's believed to have lived during the Paleocene era, which was around 58-60 million years ago, shortly after the extinction of the dinosaurs. The enormous size of Titanoboa makes it an incredibly fascinating but also terrifying creature, even for those who are not afraid of snakes. Based on fossil evidence, paleontologists estimate that Titanoboa grew to be around 12 meters, 40 feet long, and weighed approximately 1.1 metric tons, 2,425 pounds. This makes it significantly larger than any other modern-day snake species. To put this into perspective, the longest living snake today, the reticulated python, reaches lengths of up to 10 meters, 33 feet, and weighs up to 160 kilograms, 350 pounds. It is believed that Titanoboa was able to grow to such a massive size due to the warmer climate and the higher concentration of oxygen in the air during the Paleocene era. With these ideal conditions, the massive snake was able to thrive and fill the void left by the extinction of the dinosaurs. Its diet likely consisted of large aquatic prey, such as ancient crocodiles and giant turtles. The discovery of Titanoboa has given us a glimpse into the world of giant reptiles that once roamed the earth millions of years ago. It serves as a reminder that the history of our planet is full of incredible creatures that we can only imagine today. Terror birds. The Phorusrhacidae terror birds were aptly named by scientists as they were truly terrifying creatures. After the extinction of dinosaurs such as the T-Rex and the Velociraptor, the terror bird became the dominant land predator in South America and held this position for 60 million years. These prehistoric birds were up to 10 feet tall, had T-Rex-like feet, and a hooked beak that could easily kill a horse by severing its spinal cord. The terror bird's reign began when South America was still an island and most of the mammals there were herbivores, which provided ample food without competition. These birds were swift and equipped with a pickaxe-like beak that could crack the skulls of smaller animals, while their bony heads could tenderize meat. They also used their enormous clawed feet to kick their prey. 17 different species of terror birds came and went during their long reign until they disappeared completely about 2.5 million years ago. All in all, these birds were truly fearsome creatures that make us appreciate the humble street pigeon a little more. JAEKELOPTERUS. Giant sea scorpions, also known as Eurypterids, may have been extinct for millions of years, but they remain fascinating creatures to learn about. For instance, did you know that these arthropods are related to modern-day scorpions and spiders? Despite their name, they were not actual scorpions and were more closely related to horseshoe crabs. An interesting fact is that sea scorpions were not limited to just the sea. They were actually able to live in both freshwater and marine environments. Some species even lived in estuaries, where freshwater rivers met the sea, showing their adaptability and resilience. One of the reasons why JAEKELOPTERUS, the largest sea scorpion, was so terrifying was due to its giant, spiky claws. These claws were not only huge, but were also spring-loaded, meaning that they could be used to grab prey and crush them with an immense amount of force. Interestingly, sea scorpions were also one of the earliest creatures to develop a sense of vision. Scientists have found fossilized eye lenses in some species that suggest that these creatures were able to see in detail even in murky water. Sadly, the reign of the Eurypterids, including the JAEKELOPTERUS, came to an abrupt end with the Permian extinction event. This catastrophic event caused the extinction of over 96% of all marine life, and the Eurypterids were among the many species that did not survive. Nevertheless, they remain a fascinating part of Earth's ancient history and an intriguing subject for paleontologists and curious learners alike. Phoberomis pattersoni. Have you ever thought about what kind of animals existed during the Paleolithic era? Numerous of them were simply bigger versions of animals that are still around today. Phoberomis pattersoni, the largest rodents to ever roam the Earth, is one of the most unsettling examples of this. These ratzillas in the real world measured about 10 feet in length, plus a further 5 feet for the tail. Although they were much bigger and heavier than the guinea pig, which is their closest living relative, they looked more like modern capybaras. Numerous locations in Argentina, Brazil, and Venezuela have produced fossils of these enormous rodents. Phoberomis pattersoni is estimated to have weighed around 800 kilograms based on skeleton examinations, making it roughly the same size as an American bison. They may have rested on their haunches while consuming or employed their smaller forelimbs to gather plant matter because their massive hind limbs were dwarfed by their slender front limbs. Phoberomis, like the capybara, had a deep-set jaw and pointed front teeth to accommodate their grueling herbivorous diet. Despite being plant eaters, these enormous rodents had foot-long incisors that could inflict significant harm if they came into contact with another object. Before their mysterious disappearance about 8 million years ago, Phoberomis towered over swamps and wetlands near the shore. Therefore, keep this in mind next time you encounter a rat on the street. Mosasaurus? Some of you may be familiar with the name Mosasaurus if you've seen any of the Jurassic World films. This enormous marine reptile swam the oceans of the world between 80 and 66 million years ago. Even though the Mosasaurus isn't a dinosaur in the traditional sense, Rather, it's related to snakes and monitor lizards. It's still very threatening. Although complete specimens have never been discovered, paleontologists believe that the Mosasaurus likely measured 45-50 feet long and weighed about 5.5 tons, making it larger and heavier compared to 2 adult rhinoceroses and larger than the average city bus. The Mosasaurus had pterygoid or fanged teeth inside its huge mouth that were attached to bones in the roof of its mouth, just like modern snakes. It was much simpler for them to grasp and swallow their prey underwater thanks to these teeth that were embedded in the fleshy tissue of their gums. Mosasaurs were incredibly effective predators, and they left behind fossils on every continent except Antarctica. Before the KPG extinction event also wiped them out, they even rose to prominence as the main marine predators during the Cretaceous period. Platybelodon. The Platybelodon had a large fleshy spork in place of its trunk, which is how you make an elephant look dreadful. Between 8 and 20 million years ago, this elephant ancestor, which had a jutting jaw made up of a second pair of widened tusks that were actually modified incisors, lived on Earth. It was once believed that the purpose of this strange tool was to be used for dredging, digging and scooping soft vegetation in swampy or aquatic environments. In contrast, it was hypothesized in 1992 that these lower incisors were also used as scythe-like tools to cut through dense vegetation. While foraging for terrestrial plants, the Platybelodon traveled through Miocene Asia, Africa and North America, while grasping branches with its trunk and chopping them off with those specialized built-in scythes. Although these fleshy spork-shaped appendages are difficult to fossilize as bones, they are well preserved in fossil records because of their widespread death in rivers. Even though they might not have posed a serious threat to people if they had survived to the present day, their appearance is regarded as one of the craziest in history. Triassic Kraken. Over the years, fishermen have passed down legends about a sea monster known as the Kraken that is rumored to be capable of sinking a ship and devouring its crew. Although these terrifying creatures have appeared in Hollywood films, the question of whether they ever existed still lingers. A large washed-up squid beak that was about 3 inches across was examined in 1857 by Danish naturalist Japetus Steenstrup, who came to the conclusion that the Kraken was real and determined that it was a species of giant squid he called Architeuthis dux, or ruling squid. Since then, approximately 21 species of giant squid have been identified based on various body parts that washed ashore. These elusive organisms roam the ocean's depths, but it is impossible to determine their exact size because whole specimens are rarely discovered. According to some estimates, the colossal squid, the largest species still alive, can grow to a length of 33 feet and weigh up to 1,500 pounds. Even though it might not be a kraken-sized squid, some experts think that such a creature once swam in prehistoric waters. According to Professor Mark McMenamin of Mount Holyoke College in South Hadley, Massachusetts, there may have been enormous 100-foot squids in the early Triassic period that hunted school bus-sized marine reptiles called ichthyosaurs, which resembled modern dolphins. At the Geological Society of America's annual meeting in Minneapolis in 2011, McMenamin introduced the concept for the first time. His theory is based on the strange discovery of 9 fossilized ichthyosaur vertebrae in Nevada, which are arranged in linear patterns that, in his opinion, resemble the pattern of the sucker discs on cephalic tentacles. McMenamin made reference to the intelligence of contemporary cephalopods and the fact that octopuses have been observed to assemble bones, shells, and rocks in their dens. Other paleontologists, however, are not as persuaded, and some critics point out the lack of proof that cephalopods actually stockpile their prey. Others have even claimed that McMenamin didn't do anything more than read the bones at the Nevada site like ancient tea leaves, but at the Nevada site, McMenamin found another fossil in 2013. This time, he finds a piece that he believes to be the end of a massive beak that belonged to a Triassic Kraken. The unidentified fossil's fragmentary nature makes it impossible to determine the size of the cephalopod to which it may have belonged. McMenamin's theories contend that there is reason to believe that squid attained astounding sizes in the distant past, even though there is not much proof of a truly monstrous squid alive today. It's entirely possible that something much larger and scarier than the giant squid once hid beyond human reach, given that only 5% of the vast ocean has been explored. Megalodon! Did you know that Megalodon, one of the largest predators to have ever existed, had a bite force so powerful it could crush a car with ease? And despite its massive size, this prehistoric giant was a surprisingly fast swimmer, reaching speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. Megalodon's serrated teeth were the size of a human hand, making them ideal for tearing through its prey. Interestingly, despite its name, Megalodon was actually more closely related to rays and skates than to modern-day sharks. Sadly, Megalodon went extinct around 2.6 million years ago, but its legacy lives on in the popular culture and fascination of people around the world. From books and documentaries to the thrilling 2018 movie The Meg, this prehistoric giant continues to captivate our imaginations. So next time you're at the beach, keep an eye out for any signs that Megalodon might still be lurking in the depths. As we wrap up this video, let's ponder a thrilling and terrifying question. If we had the power to bring back one of these prehistoric monsters, which one would you choose? Would you go for the awe-inspiring Titanoboa, the ferocious Megalodon, or perhaps the elusive Kraken? Let your imagination run wild and let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to stay tuned for more fascinating content. Thanks for watching.